What's up, friends? Welcome back to Attacking Third. We got Jordan Angeli in the house, Jen Beattie in the house. I'm your host, Darian Jenkins, and this is presented by Tylenol, the official pain reliever of the NWSL. We have a very fun show for you today. We are doing a little recap of the Women's Champions League, talking about contenders or pretenders. We have a special interview with Portland Thorns head coach Robert Vilahamn, and then we are going to preview NWSL Matchweek and look at who has the best aura coming into this weekend, because we have had a lot of surprises, a lot of flashy goals. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us on Attacking Third, whether you're here on YouTube, listening as a podcast, or joining us on Golazo.net. We appreciate it. Jump in. Let us know what you think of Women's Champions League yesterday, especially because that was crazy. I did not predict we were going to get 8 goals out of Barcelona, Real Madrid. I actually thought Real Madrid was going to put up a little bit more of a defensive fight, but maybe I'm dreaming.
Any fight, it felt like a little bit.
Yeah, it was tough. But let's get into it. So looking at the game, looking at some of the matches that stood out, Wolfsburg toppling Lyon in the first leg 1-0, Arsenal beating Chelsea 3-1, Real Madrid losing to Barca 2-6, and then Manchester United and Bayern Munich neck and neck, with it ending 2-3, with Pernilla Harder absolutely standing out in that match and coming in and making a splash. Well, let's take a look then. Contender or pretender? Jen and I covered this a lot yesterday, so Jen, let's start with you.
Okay.
Who is a contender for the Champions League title and who is a pretender? Let's start first with Barcelona.
They have to be the biggest contender.
Right.
Now, I think their football is always blowing everyone away. And as much as we can, big up the games of El Clasico and 2 huge clubs going match to match, this just was so one-sided. Barcelona just looked so ahead of the game and completely dominated it. I still can't believe they conceded 2. I think they'll still be disappointed with that. But with a 4-goal cushion going into a second leg at a quarter-final stage, they just looked so comfortable on the ball, absolutely beautiful to watch. So they are absolutely the biggest contender in my eyes right now.
The thing about this Barcelona team is they're relentless in the way that they go forward, and you never know who is going to be the player that beats you. Sometimes it's those forwards who are switching lines, and the midfielders are then getting in beyond. It's outside backs who are helping with the attack. Like, how do you defend that properly? And you mentioned it off the start, Darian. Like, if you play this team, you got to put up a fight, and it felt like, surprisingly, this Real Madrid team was not ready to even do that in this game. They just looked like they were punched so quickly and didn't know how to respond from it. And it was a surprising result, I think, because of the score line. But then you just look at this Barcelona team and you're thinking, okay, you can't just stop like 2 or 3 players. You got to stop 6 of them, 7 of them. Like, good luck.
Well, I think the key word you said there was respond, right? Because you're responding to every goal in the minute. And then I'm even thinking you have to go and play them again so many times this season, not just in the second leg, cup finals, league games. Can you imagine having to play against Barcelona? Pardon?
3 times this week, 3 times in a single week, you have to play them.
So how do you respond? It's so hard. But I agree with what you're saying. Some of the defending we could try and pick out. But ultimately, I'm looking at some of them passes, and even remember the dink over the back line.
Yeah, first touch.
You can't defend that. I'm sorry. That is like a level of skill that like very, very few teams have. And even we were pointing it out, Darian, on the show. Bon Mati missing, certain players on the bench, Hansen coming into the game, how much Vicky Lopez is that. They just have an abundance of players. They were an absolute joy to watch.
Mm-hmm. Jordan, I want to ask you, because we were asked on the show, because I was like, well, Barcelona might try to get Linda Caicedo to join their squad after this season.
Yeah.
But Kelly was like, no, we need her in the NWSL. And I was like, Orlando should pick her up. She seems like she'd fit Orlando. Her and Jen were both like, oh, Gotham, they don't need another player.
Yeah.
Where would you want her? But besides Denver, where would you see her?
I think Orlando's a good shout, but I would actually say this Angel City team, with what they're doing, imagine adding Linda Caicedo to the attack as well. I think Angel City, because they are such a big name, they haven't used that that hip player rule yet, and
True.
player that I would probably look at and say, okay, we would want her here in the city of Angels.
That's a good shout.
Yeah,
That's a great shout.
That is a really good shout. Well, let's look at Wolfsburg.
Didn't call it.
Contender or pretender?
You didn't call the game, or that they would have been a contender?
I didn't. I honestly thought Lyon would have dominated that more.
Same.
Yeah.
I think that this is the beauty of football, the things that we love to hate about it, right? Like, we have all these expectations for teams, and they come in and Lyon created chances. Like, they could have won this game, and it comes down to little moments where you have to be uber focused and make sure that you're tracking runs, and it's good goalkeeping. It's not deflecting a ball. It's those little things that, Jen, you've been in those positions where you lunge at a ball and you're thinking you're helping out, and unfortunately I'm the player that then puts it in the back of the net. So I feel like for this Lyon team, sometimes things are going so well for them that maybe this is what they need to then boost. So I think Wolfsburg has the ability to go and have a really good defensive performance against them, but it feels like it's going to be a different beast for Lyon in that second leg.
I agree. I'm going pretender for Wolfsburg.
You're going pretender.
You know what? Maybe they'll make me eat my words again, but Jordan's point, look at how Lyon came back in matches in 45 minutes. Sure, they didn't do it this week, but I think, imagine going into that locker room after losing the first leg like that, and you had every chance to score probably 5 or 6 goals. I think it'll be completely different at home next week.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I like this comment too. If Wolfsburg wins the next, they're contenders. I mean, if you knock out a big gun like that, then you have to be. So I don't know, make us eat our words.
Yeah, I was already full from that this week. All right, let's go on to Bayern. Jen, toppling Man United, but it was a very close game. Contender or pretender?
I mean, they have to be a contender because they're in the front runner, but do I think they have the capacity to overturn a better team? I'm going pretender.
You sounded scared to say it. Why?
Just because I was trying to figure out their path to the final, and I just think away from home, still conceding to. I'm confident they'll go through. I do think they'll get a result at home next leg. I think Man United did really well, but I still think they just need to get Clara Bull back fit as well. I think just for that extra firepower up top. So at the moment, showing like a contender, but I still think they're a pretender. I don't think they can win it.
Yeah, I agree. They would also play Barca next, and I'm going pretender. I don't think it's gonna happen.
At this stage in the tournament,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm pretender too, because I feel like at this stage of the tournament, you know how important set pieces are, and you can't be giving away set piece goals if you're going to be a contender. And that, to me, it just never felt like it didn't feel like they had the game in control. And I think that's what you want to see from a contender at this moment in the tournament. So I'm with you. 3 for 3 on
pretender. Arsenal, though, the reigning title holders, toppling Chelsea 3-1. They're in flow. They look good. Pretender or contender, Jen?
Contender. All day. I said that one. Yeah, I mean, they're hitting their form. What can I say? And even with top players missing, we talked about how impactful the Asian Cup was going to be over these games, and Caitlin Ford, Steph Catley, Leah Williamson, obviously through injury. Big players missing, and still looked so convincing. I thought that it was an awesome game, though. I will say Chelsea could have scored 2 easily in the first half, but what a game of top quality goals! It was amazing to be calling it. In the moment, I was just like I was honestly taken away by Lauren James's phenomenal finish.
Oh my god!
Just incredible technical ability. Up there, one of the best in the world, absolutely. But then Alessia Russo goes and pulls out this touch from behind their mid-volley, mid-air. I'm just like, what a game this is.
Jordan, what was your favorite goal from that?
It's so hard because you didn't even mention the Chloe Kelly goal from distance, dipping it right before the goalkeeper. All three of those goals, I would say, were, I mean, the Blackstenius goal was nice. It was a perfect weighted ball into the box on that set piece, but you have to go. I mean, for me, the Russo goal and the way that Alessio Russo is playing right now is one of the prime reasons why I think Arsenal is a contender, because she is just dragging defenders all over the field, creating space for herself, for players around her. And that goal is, I think you were talking about it, Jen, in the moment, like the ability to bring it up and then mid stride also finish it near post, where the space was like a ball width. Like, it was not a lot of space to get that in the near post. And yet still, it was absolutely incredible. So I got to go with that goal, and Arsenal are a contender.
Yeah, I agree. Arsenal are a contender. I think Chloe Kelly's was my favorite goal, though.
Really?
Yeah.
The touch backwards. Guys, the amount of power that she got on that was insane. Inside of her foot, whipping it, using the defender as a shield. Like, to me, it was like, that's a team. I know we're doing Aura rankings later. We're not doing it around Champions League, but like, they have
Aura ranking.
Yeah. They would be up there. Well, I love it. We'll, of course, be covering the second leg next week here on CBS, and you'll see some very familiar faces on that coverage. But stick with us. We have a very special interview. Portland Thorns head coach Robert Vilahamn coming up next.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
Welcome back to Attacking Third, presented by Tylenol, the official pain reliever of the NWSL. And we are in for a treat because we have a special guest. Portland Thorns head coach Robert Vilahamn is joining us here on Attacking Third Live. Coach, congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us. We wanted to start off this with, you're in Portland, and we've all played in the NWSL. We know that the moniker for Portland is Keep Portland Weird. Is there anything that you've kind of seen or experienced so far in Portland that is the weirdness?
Yeah, and I think that's what I see all the time with all the cultures and everything, and I just love it with so many different, people can be whoever they want to be, and they are there, and I think it's quite cool to see that.
Yeah, Robert, welcome to NWSL. It's nice to have you here. Have you even gotten settled in Portland? Like, you've barely been there since you made the move over here. How's that been going?
I mean, it's been hectical. I mean, I flew directly to DC and was working with the players for a few days, and then back and having now 2 more games. So no, it's been a hectical 2 weeks, and I don't really have any place to stay yet because we worked so much. But now I'm going to try to find some time coming a national team break in 2 weeks. I'm going to just work really hard until then, and then make sure I can settle into Portland as well. But it's been really exciting to be in this league and experience both wins and now also a loss, though.
Robert, we've crossed paths at a North London derby. How did it feel to be part of another iconic derby over here in the NWSL and get an amazing win as well?
Yeah, I mean, those games are the ones you kind of work for. I think those are magical moments in London. You know how it is to have the fan base and everything and compete against the rivalry where you really want to make sure that they're not winning, and we want to win and make sure we can be the best team in the city for that week. And beating Seattle in front of our fans, my first home game, and also how it was a crazy game. There was like 1 player out, 2 players out, and we still had a clean sheet. So that was a massive performance by the players.
I played in a Cascadia rivalry on the other side. I played for Seattle, and Providence Park is a fortress to go into, and I'm sure it was such a joy to experience that and also get the win, but the fashion that you got the win as well. Is that a match that you think you'll look back on throughout the season, and that kind of reflects the Portland Thorns DNA that you're trying to instill?
Yeah, I think that shows what these players are able to do. Then I also know that it's going to take time before we know all the situations in each game. But what you can tell from the players and how they adapted during that game and how loyal and how much they showed the togetherness, that was impressive. But also how they showed to keep playing according to the principles. And the second goal was actually very much how we want to play football through the lines and make sure we break the lines and go in behind. So I think that would be a standard that's what we can do. And then yesterday you can see some games where we need to improve and learn much more about each other, because we are still in a very early phase of getting to know each other. And some of the players we have signed is coming from the college and everything, and they need the experience and they need to get these means to grow together with me as well. So, I don't really know the players so much yet. So it's every day is togetherness where we're learning about each other.
Yeah. Sometimes too, the most you learn about a team is after a loss, and you guys are just coming after a loss. What would you say now, gosh, not even 12 hours later, right? What do you feel like will be the biggest lesson that you learned from that game last night in San Diego?
I mean, it's hard when you live the game, but I watch it back, and I think you can see the first minute that we are not really that compact that we normally were in the first two games. So when we give up space for San Diego, which is probably the best team in the league on creating their space and rotations, then they create the really good moments where they can do 1-against-1s against us. And I think the strength we have had was to defend together and make sure we don't open up space. So we need to learn how to not follow their rotations and everything, and make sure we can still start the game in a better way. Because when you give the goal away in minute 1, they grow. We come back into the game, but we're not really back in the game. I think they are more dominant in the first half. So that's one thing we need to be better at. And also when you emotionally are stressed, to not start kicking long balls or not trying to keep the plan. We need to make sure we can. It's a long game, and this league is very competitive. So you need to stick to the game and try to make sure you attack your way.
Yeah, it's definitely competitive. But one thing that makes, I think, a lot of fans really happy has been seeing Sophia Wilson's reintroduction to football and getting more and more minutes. How significant do you think she'll be, and what kind of collaborative goals have you guys set for her this season?
I mean, you saw yesterday, now she's actually back and she can perform in a really high level. And the main thing when I spoke to her is not to get her back. I want to make sure she gets even better than she was before. So we're going to make sure we push her to the next level. But obviously, she's coming back from a long time away from football. But I can see that she's shining, and we have Gigi with her on the trainings and games. I think that's another team member in this team as well. So we have energy from her as well. So I think getting her back, getting her to understand how we want to play, and then she will be an enormous threat. And scoring goals. That's her thing, right?
Yeah, we've all been gunning to see her back on the pitch. We saw that spark, especially last night when she was driving with the ball, breaking lines, just so aggressive, still so strong. I wanted to ask, you mentioned you kind of just got there. You haven't really had the time to settle. It's quick, fast, you're traveling a lot. But Sarah Loudon, your assistant coach, is somebody that helped with the preseason and sort of your transition into coming in as head coach. Can you just talk about how important she was in this offseason to kind of integrate what you want this team to be?
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you were a terrain coach who doesn't really know in the beginning who's coming in. So you need to train a roster in a way where you don't really know how we're going to play. And being that adaptable to train them in a good way, and then progressing when she knows that I'm coming to adapt even more to that way. I think that shows her skills and how good she is to actually develop the plays according to someone else's style as well. But it's also connected to her style, because the way they play, this is the reason I'm here, is because the roster they have is a good roster for me to play with. It's kind of, we have a good match here, and I think that's the good thing. And she can link those two together, which is really good. And I think she has she has a great future as a coach. I think she will be an amazing head coach in the future as well. But she's on the pathway, and she's a little bit younger than me, but she's already there. She's a really good coach.
Yeah. She's done had that role many times where she's had to fill in for head coaches. So it seems like each time she just keeps getting better. So I love the just giving her a little shout out there. This transition to NWSL is something new for you, but one of the things that this Portland team has, you just mentioned the roster, is there is a lot of youth in this team, and you like working with those players, developing them to make them into the players that they can be. What's your philosophy behind getting the development for younger players that you need, but also relying on veterans who can help instill what the culture is that you want to have with this Portland team?
Yeah, I think that it's the balance of what you're saying there. I think, first of all, give them trust, that you actually dare to play them, and some of the players that are ready for that, to try to play them even more, so they don't really feel like they need to do one game and then you're out, or if you not perform. Obviously, there's different levels on where you are in your pathway, but you need players like Jessie Fleming and those players around them as well, because you cannot think that you're just going to take every situation on your own. And I mean, that if you have an experienced player next to you, it feels a little bit more easy to play your style. And I think Jessie has been great with Cassandra and Shay in that position, for example. Liv is still very young, so she's actually a talent, but she's played in the league for a few years, right? But I think she's one of those players that you want to grow into a leader. So then I want to play her a lot to make sure she get the trust from me to be an important player, but also give the freedom to her to express herself with the football. I think some key players, I had Grace Clinton in England, is kind of those players need to feel like they can express themselves with their football. So I need to create a freedom in the way we play to make sure they can shine. And then you have more loyal players in different positions that should just more like do the work, but they do it. And that's also the most important thing for the team as well. So finding a balance, who they are, how can I make sure that they feel like I trust them, but also make sure they have a pathway to grow.
Mm-hmm. One player that I've just loved watching, even just the start of the season, but at the end of last season, I think we saw her kind of find her confidence, find her flow in the NWSL is Petra Torden. And she's got 2 goals, 2 assists already. Can you just talk about what's next for her in her game? Because I think she has the technical, tactical skill, and the more she's on the ball, the more it generates for you guys.
Yeah, I think if you look at the whole NWSL, these first 3 games, she's a top 5 player in these games, and she's obviously in the pathway for the national team in the US. I think she will probably knock on the door for the big national team very soon as well if she continue doing this. Her mentality is great. She's so willing to learn. She's so willing to work hard, and she's so willing to adapt to different parts of the game. So I think the mentality is one thing. She has the right mentality to grow, and she's ready to grow. I think the main thing now is when Sofia is coming back is also to maybe adapt to different roles sometimes, because Petra and Sofia is extremely good footballers, and we want to play both. So you need to find ways to not change the formation, but use them in a good way. So we're going to see how we can do that for the upcoming games. But I think Petra has a really bright future, and I think she will be an important player for this country in the future as well.
So, Robert, a big conversation on attacking third and football in general. What just loves this conversation about what's better, the WSL or the NWSL. Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot here, okay? Because I don't believe in putting leagues up against each other. We're all for about opportunity, okay? But what do you think so far are the biggest differences that you've seen, even in your experience so far? Because you have so much experience across so many different leagues now. But between European, NWSL, you can go WSL specifically and NWSL. What are your biggest differences that you've noticed so far?
If you go to England and it's not the most competitive league in the world, because if you play against Chelsea, Arsenal, or Man City, you know that you have 1 of 10 games you can win, but you know that you're probably going to lose that game because it's so big difference of the rosters. Okay. I think, even when we played you guys, you had, all your bench was basically starting in my team if we would have those players as well, because that was the level of the Arsenal roster. But then in the end, in England, it's still very much all the players are very technically skilled, so they can adapt to different flexibility in the way we play. So when I worked there, you could adapt and find players really adaptable in that way. When I watch this league and now I'm going to experience this league, I think there's so many individual strong attacking players in this league that are having a benefit of the transition game in the US. So every time you put the ball into those spaces, you create chances. So Kansas last season put the ball in behind very much and had the quickest player in the league, and they were really successful. And I think yesterday, the strikers in San Diego, extremely strong individually, and they can win just because of that. But the first 2 games when we're actually getting a more like tactical shape and defending, teams are struggling in the US still. So I think it's the more of the tactical flexibilities getting here. We have more European coaches that are kind of more focused on that. I think that strength in the US is something I need to learn about, because that's massive to see. Just the finishing drill, when I watch the training, it's like the power the girls have when they shoot and how they do that. I haven't seen that in England. It's kind of like everybody can shoot so hard and do it with accuracy. So I think there is a big difference in different occasions, but now it's going to be like floater, because the US players go into Europe. We are coming over to the US. I think you will see quite similar in the future, but right now those are the biggest thing I can notice.
I love those details. Thanks for sharing that.
So
That's really
me too. I was like,
that was
nodding
really
and loving. Yeah,
right?
That was one of the great answers.
Okay, I've got the last question for you here, Robert. You're coming to a Portland team who is kind of like those big guns in England, right? They have expectations because this is a championship winning club, and you knew that coming in. For you, what are the expectations for your first year here in NWSL?
I mean, I think there's 2 things. One is that, yes, Portland want to win. They have a fan base, they have owners, they have everybody want to win. And I want to win. So that's the key thing with that. But I also are aware that I didn't get a preseason. We are making the roster younger. We lost Sam Coffey. We have a few big injuries coming back after the summer. So I will also be very realistic with that. I'm going to push everything I can to make sure we win as much games as possible. But what I want to create is an identity of how we want to play with this and develop these players so we are strong over time. So I'm not here for 1 year. I'm going to make sure I'm doing a good job to stay here for many years. And I want to be strong over time with a clear identity and a pathway for both the player in development, but also the team to be a successful thing. So yes, I want to win the first year. And yes, I'm going to push for that. But I'm also aware that it's going to be more difficult without the preseason and without those players who are injured. But that's the beauty of this game.
Well, Coach, we'd say you're off to a great start. Winning the Cascadia rivalry, learning your lessons early. We are here for it. And we're so excited to see what you do with the team this season. And we know you have to go. You've got a game coming up against Kansas City. So we wish you the best of luck. And thank you so much for joining us on Attacking Third.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We will be back after this quick break. We are talking NWSL Aura rankings. Stick with us.
When you need your sports news all the time,
We've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ hits every highlight from all the sports that matter to you.
JJ, we appreciate your time breaking it down.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With the plays you missed
What a finish at the final round of play.
and analysis to give you an edge.
All we need is 20 points.
I was shaking in my boots.
Texas, Ohio State, who wins this game?
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, streaming free 24/7.
Hey friends, welcome back to Attacking Third, presented by Tylenol, the official pain reliever of the NWSL. Were you guys smiling during that break after that interview with Coach Robert Vilahamn of Portland Thorns? I was like, I want to play for him.
Yeah.
He seemed awesome, I will say.
Yeah.
I loved his answers. I was definitely smiling in the break thinking, wow, he was amazing. Loved him.
The
Would have
thing
loved to have
that-
played with him.
That stuck out to me is, it's going to be difficult coming in with no preseason. But the way he articulates things, you guys, we've been on teams where coaches, what they want and what their expectations are, and they can communicate it properly. It feels like he's got that down. And that's such a big thing when you don't have a lot of time or ability. Even this week, think about this week, 3 games in 8 days, and he has to put a new game plan in. And it feels like he's going to be able to articulate that properly.
Yeah, and it seems like he has a really good team with Sarah Loudon and kind of what he said. But also, I'm like, I feel like we already kind of see the new identity of Portland Thorns. Like, the players are smiling, which we haven't always said. Like, there's just a lot of joy on the pitch, which I love.
Yeah.
Okay, giving them their flowers. Good luck to Portland Thorns against Kansas City this week. Let's get into our Aura rankings. This is a different segment. Typically, we do power rankings in the NWSL based on, results and some swagger. This is all about Aura, as the kids are calling it. So whatever gets cool points, something flashy, which team has surprised us. It can be a team, a player, a coach, a city, whatever it's going to be. So first,
can we just say this is Darian's idea, and we got to give you props for it because it is pretty unique. And I like that you're taking something normal and putting a spin on it. So you go, D.
Thank you. We're trying to connect with the youth, as they say.
Yes, we are.
All right. Well, first to be Svendis Jonsdottir, dominating with Angel City, coming in, brace and assist against Bay FC. I mean, she to me has aura. Like, she can make something out of nothing. She leads the Golden Boot race right now. To me, just chef's kiss. Absolutely brilliant player and just a joy to watch with Angel City.
I was curious how it was going to look with her as a center forward and not a winger. And I agree. I think she is like taken this and said, all right, I have more space to work with. I can be on the right. I can be on the left. I like what she's been able to do. And that has given her this scoring goals is going to give you confidence, but there has been a confidence right away from her to be like, I'm leading this team from the front and watch me go.
Yeah, I feel like she's been given like a freedom this season to kind of just show her flair. And we say it all the time, like decision making in the final third and how that can just go from no goals to goals and assists. And that's what stood out to me massively. Darian, I know you love one of the assists, right?
Oh, yeah. I loved the cut across the 6 to, first of all, Giselle Thompson coming out of nowhere. Like, from the back, like keeping up with Svendis Jonsdottir, you guys. I don't think the NWSL, we saw a glimpse of how fast she is, but for Giselle Thompson to keep up with her and then just slot it was just such a team goal, like for the girls, and I loved it.
You know, when you do high speed running and training, I just bank on the two of them just going at each other, like who can run the fastest, surely, and that must be That's when I just saw
I try to
back
forget about those days with the high speed running, Jen. I was never in the front, so it was always traumatizing.
I just saw backs.
I'm like, I could see everybody that's winning.
Lori Lindsay told us she was in the back too most of the time.
It's tough back here.
Well, someone else that's at the top of our Aura rankings last night, Lisbeth Ovalle scored one of the cheekiest goals, you guys. The cheekiest little back heel. She ignited the attack, first of all, makes a run into the box. It's crossed. It's behind her. And, that left foot, she's got the left foot, just flicks it behind her leg, goes in the goal. Brilliant. Brilliant.
When you just can't even see things like that happening, and then all of a sudden it's going over the line, and you just think, how did that even happen? I love the players that have the sort of creativity in that sense to even have the audacity to try it. And the fact that what I love about that goal is it didn't go over the line fast. It just kind of went up because nobody saw it coming. Nobody knew what had happened. No defender knew what was happening. Goalkeeper. That is sheer skill and creativity that not many players have. So absolute aura, as the kids.
And that's why they brought her in, right?
The kids say that.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Jen, that sounded right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to be cool, but that's why they bring her into the. Oh, is that what it is? Aura maxing?
I don't know.
Sure. They brought her in last year is because they knew that she could do things like this. The La Maga, the magician, she's done that so much. We often see it from outside the box with her left foot, but here she's like, I can use my left foot in another way. Just watch me. Like, that's got to be up for early contender of goal of the year for sure. Just
between her and Sofia Cantore, I think
right.
So good. Another one, we've all played for teams that we've either been traded from or, I don't know, asked to leave from. Who knows the relationship? But when you get to go play your old team and dominate, shout out to Denver Summit and especially Abby Smith, Yasmin Ryan, Delaney Sheehan going and winning against their old team. To me, that's one of the things that you just walk with a little more pep in your step. Yeah. Especially the team that is the reigning title holders in the NWSL, and you come into their home and have a dominating win. Jordan, you have aura today after that?
I do. I'm shining.
Yes. You're shining. There's a glow about you.
Wow. Thank you very much. Maybe I am younger than I think I am. I thought that was great. And this is why you bring in players like this, the champions with Gotham before you bring them into an expansion side, because that they're winners and they're going to find a way to push you over the line when need be. Played in key roles in this game. But I think one of the biggest roles is the leadership. And that'll give you a different kind of aura, won't it? Just leading a team like that.
There's nothing better than beating your old team.
Nothing better.
I don't. You can have the utmost respect, which I'm sure they all do, but the aura leaving the field last night, if you have just beaten your old team, top of the list for me. To be honest, I love the way you teed up the questions with Darian, asked to leave, just left. Got told to leave.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm contract cut, whatever way it is. Sorry, that got me. But yeah, whatever way you're asked, then you leave on your own accord, anything. But then going back and, at their home field as well, that is aura. So
for defending champions too. And
exactly. An expansion team against defending champions, and you are part of that expansion team beating the champions against, and they are your old team. Huge. And Abby Smith was in our team of the week last year, so shout out her again.
Yeah, again,
last week, sorry.
Yeah, Denver's doing it. We're going to talk more about Denver in a couple of minutes. But last but not least, Seattle Reign, I wasn't familiar with your game. Excuse me for anything bad I said last week at the Cascadia rivalry, because they turned things around, winning against Kansas City 3-0. The reigning shield holders from 2025.
Yeah.
What's going on with Kansas City is a whole other conversation. Let's just give some flowers to Seattle because the goals that they scored as well were so good.
So
oh my gosh. That James Turner goal from outside the box.
Oh, the
it's
volley.
like what you dream about. And she tried it again in the second half, didn't work out as well. But that first half goal, it like upped their confidence right away. And Seattle last year, you wouldn't say this team had aura, right? They had
I wouldn't have said it last week.
Grit, yeah. But it does feel like they have turned a new leaf on like, we're going to go forward and we have the weapons to go forward. And they showed that with some depth in this game as well. Goodness, like to have that was a rotated squad last night. Mondesir didn't even start. And I feel like she's been one of the best players in the start of the season and really, I think, been the player that we thought she has always been because they've been more attacking. And so she's getting the ball more. This is a Seattle team who is feeling pretty good after that, especially like Adler Road in a place you've never played. So like for them, they're just feeling good and flying high right now.
I mean, they had something to prove, no?
They did.
I can't imagine the locker room after last
I can't imagine. Like that would have been a hard place to be. That would have been such a tough. Everyone would have been looking at them to bounce back, and man, was that a statement.
Yeah.
Do we think Jess Fishlock's goal was in?
What'd you say?
Fishlock's goal?
Oh, yes, it was in.
It was in. I thought it was in.
I thought
it was absolutely in.
I thought it was in.
I didn't the first time, like when it first happened live, I didn't think so. And then they showed the replay. I was shocked. And I think actually Sofia Huerta, as good of a game as she could have had 3 assists. Like she had that third cross too. That was from the same exact spot. She was like, all right, feed me. But in that situation, I don't think she should have thrown the ball in.
Yeah.
Because they were doing the replay and the ball was already halfway up the field when they came back from the replay.
That's why I was wondering. I was like, we have VAR. Why is it we don't they review everything that's like a potential goal scoring opportunity? But
I might be wrong, but I feel like is that not goal line technology? Like,
well, they could have looked at it. Yes, I think goal line technology is one of the big issues, right? Yeah. We don't have that in NWSL, but they could have at least paused it and said, okay, is there enough evidence to say that this was a goal?
Right.
From that one view, it kind of looked like it, but
it was very clearly over the line. Justice for Jess Fishlock. She got a goal, but
justice for Jess.
Justice, but they still have all of the aura. All right, let's jump into our preview. Guys, aura rankings was fun. I
liked it.
Good job, Dee.
Yeah.
Good job.
You're like, I like my idea. This is good.
I once in a while have a decent idea. Yeah. Aura. Let's go into the preview of this weekend's games, which is crazy because there was matches last night. Guys, we all played in the NWSL. I can't imagine doing a 3-game week anymore.
No.
I cannot fathom how my body.
I'm missing it. I loved it.
A 3-game
Wait,
week.
I will retract that based on the size of this country.
Yeah.
The travel.
With travel and that is crazy to say that is not even the same as playing in Europe because it's not.
Nope.
It was like an hour flight to Spain. So from London.
Like the time zones, right? You're not often switching that many time zones. Yeah, that's.
I retract.
We miss playing, but 3 games a week, we're not quite sure if we could still do that.
Yeah.
Also at 34 years old, hard no.
Yeah.
So,
me too.
Hard pass. Drop an aura point. That's all right. All right, let's jump into the preview of this weekend's games. Third match of the week. Let's start with Angel City and Houston Dash. Both these teams 2-0 to start the regular season for the first time in club history. The first time. Now, these are the only teams to go 3 or more undefeated to start the league. Oh, excuse me. The only teams to go 3 or more undefeated to start the season are Seattle in 2015, KC 2025, North Carolina 2018, Orlando 2024. There's a couple more, but I don't want to read them off.
Can I say what those teams were? Shield.
Yep.
Championship and Shield. North Carolina was, I think, Shield and Championship that year.
Yeah.
It was pretty good company to keep.
So you're saying Houston Dash is going to win the Shield. Jordan Angeli is saying Houston Dash are going to win the Shield and the championship in 2026.
I am saying it's good company if you do win all 3 in a row. Like this could very well be a tie, right?
Yeah.
It could be. But the way that Angel City has played in these first 2 games, I don't know, you guys. Like they look like they're contenders to bring it back to our first segment. I really feel like this is going to be, out of the first 3 games, this is going to be their most difficult one, because their first one, Chicago. Second one, Bay showed good ability in that first game, although they were up a player, to attack. But I was still thinking their defense was a little sketchy. And it was. They didn't adjust in that game against Angel City, and Angel City punished them with the space in behind. This Houston team is more organized defensively. They sit in that mid block. They don't give you very much space to play through. I think it'll be interesting to see how Angel City plays through Houston. Will it be more on the outside backs trying to get into the channel? Will they play right through the heart of them and try to pick up into that second seam? This is going to be a challenge. And if Angel City beats Houston with their good defensive structure, I'm looking at this Angel City team like, watch out, you guys.
Yeah, I am too. When I look at Angel City's matches they've had, and defensively how good they've been as well. Houston, yes, fix things, sharpen things up somewhat. Boston isn't the test to me that tells you where a team is at right now. Just full stop. Boston's not still figuring out what they're trying to do. I think Boston's still even adjusting to the league. So yes, that was a dominating win for Houston, which is great. That's a lot of confidence. But I still don't know. I'm not convinced because of that win. So I give Angel City the upper hand a bit coming into this match, because to me, the variety of ways that they've scored, how they get the best out of their players. I think Kennedy Fuller going to the winger is so good for that side, and her and Giselle Thompson's combination is just so strong and getting better each game. I don't know if Houston, I still am not convinced by their press even to be able to stop Angel City in this.
I think they're defensive to have 2 shutouts starting the season. You have to give them credit for that, especially San Diego Wave in your opener. I think Robert Vilahamn kind of summed it up really well. The Wave are the best creativity, best at rotations, trying to pull you out. So the fact that they were able to shut up shop and keep a clean sheet against that, but it's by far, it's going to be their biggest test. You're coming up against Angel City, who have started so well. I'm still going to back Angel City just because of their form and watching them. And I keep talking about the energy that just seems to be coming from that camp right now has been crazy positive. So I'm still backing Angel City on this one.
Yeah, I think we all are. Yeah. Well, let's go to another match. Denver Summit versus Washington Spirit. Washington Spirit struggle bus right now, but Denver Summit is killing it, Jordan. It's been a joy to watch. You have your inaugural home game this weekend on CBS. Tune in. Jen Beattie and I will be on the coverage. And the club reportedly has sold more than 50,000 tickets. Jordan, what does it mean? Like when you see these numbers just keep going up and up and up, like how elated do you feel that you're going to have this many people turn out for your home opener?
I'm just excited for Denver, like the community here. And, it's been a really nice week here. A win last night, I think, helps ticket sales. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that number much higher than the last announcement, because it is going to be 75 on Saturday. Perfect football weather, noon kickoff. You're playing Washington Spirit. Like this is going to be incredible for all the people who believed in this. And so I'm pumped to get them, to see all these people who are coming out to support this team to watch him play for the first time. I think that's like the biggest thing, is just how excited I am for the community to get to watch this.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you mentioned, Denver coming off of the massive win against the 2025 NWSL champions. I mean, I think when we watch Denver, it's just it feels as if you almost already have your identity figured out. Like it's very clear. And I want to give a shout out to Melissa Kostler. 3 goals in 3 games. Like what a start to the NWSL. And that is tough. And she's absolutely made a splash.
Jen, you've played center back in this league, and you have seen the way that she runs off the shoulders of center backs. What a nightmare to track her.
No, and I will say this, like Jess Carter is not slow. Like Jess Carter is a great center back and so much experience, but it just shows someone's pace that's how. I'm not going to say easy a goal can be scored, because that's not what it's about, but it's the timing of the run, I think, is the most important thing to say, and that the way that the ball's played just sits in her path. But it is so difficult. I think, again, Robert Williams spoke about it, the transitions and the balls in behind, and how so many great attackers in this league and how hard that is to defend. I came into the league where it was Chwenga and Barbara Banda, and I was just like, oh my word, this is
welcome.
Welcome. Harsh welcome for sure. And yeah, it just goes to show. And I kind of love that. I mean, I've worked with Nick Cushing and absolutely love him. He's one of the best coaches I've ever had. So the way he's adapted really quickly coming back into the women's game, and working with players he's worked with before, like Tash Flint, getting her goal as well against champions. It's just credit to them, and they've just got a good group of people. Jordan, I'm sure you can attest to that. You know more than me, but bringing Karen Bardsley, Julie Twaddle, all people that Nick has worked with before to kind of and it just seems, I've spoken to a couple of players, they seem to be really on board with it, and that's showing. And I think when you have trust in your manager, trust in the process, this kind of success comes with. So happy that they've got a result to then take to a home opener. Can you imagine just beating the NWSL champions and knowing you got your home opener around the corner, sold that amount of tickets?
Yeah.
What a play.
I actually have a question, because I think managing expectations in this home opener is going to be the biggest, and managing the energy is going to be the biggest thing for Denver. Jen, what's the biggest crowd you played in front of?
Oh my gosh, good question. Wembley finals, probably. Well, sold out Emirates. So
yeah. Did you
60.
approach it differently? Like, what's the difference in those types of games? Like, how do you manage the big moments where you can't really hear the people next to you? Like, it's loud. Yeah. It's everybody's there to watch you perform well, and so that's all you want, but you can't really overdo it, right? You don't want to go too far, because then you're pressing the game, and that's the last thing you want.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't know if this was more of an age thing. I just wanted to enjoy it and soak up every single second. Like, especially for I guess that when I first got into the game, there weren't that crowds. There was no such thing as, selling out the Emirates. So the fact that I got to experience that, I knew I just wanted to absolutely enjoy it. So it was about knowing your processes, knowing the plan, sticking to that, trying as much to communicate, but knowing that that might not happen, and feeding off the energy. I was massive on that. Look at the crowd, engage with them, get them on your side. I like, that was the best feeling in the world. If you scored, go and celebrate with the fans. Use those moments. Really just thrive in it. And that's what I would say to anyone who's playing in front of that crowd, because those moments don't last forever, and some players never even had that. So just absolutely enjoy every single second. Do whatever process you have to shut out the nerves, or use the nerves if that's a way of using that kind of energy. For me, it's about energy. Go and celebrate with the crowd. Mm-hmm. And even no matter the score, even afterwards, enjoy it. Enjoy the moment with the crowd. Almost the score, if you win, amazing. Whatever happens, like, just thrive off the energy in that stadium, because it's going to be epic.
Oh, love that, Jen. That's so good. And one of the things you mentioned, celebrations. If there's a Denver goal, they better do you guys, I'm going to give you a little Denver Broncos history. When they first moved into this new building, that's not really new anymore, Empire Field, Terrell Davis was our running back, and he used to mile high salute, stand in the end zone and salute the fans. And I'm like, they better do a mile high salute if they score a goal at Empire Field. It just feels like it would be the perfect thing to do for the fans.
Well, Jen and I will be doing it in studio when we cover it. Jen, you made me want to run through a wall. I wish we were on the ground in Denver. But Jordan, so happy for you. What you've done.
Wall.
Yeah, right. what you've done for this club, and it's just so exciting. So cannot wait for this Saturday. And everybody, you can watch those games, and we're talking Denver versus Washington at 2 p.m. and Portland Thorns versus Kansas City at 4 p.m. on CBS. Jen and I will be there to cover it, cheering on Jordan Angeli, because she's just done incredible work. That was our show, everyone. Appreciate you all tuning in. We will be back Sunday night at 9 p.m. after the Gotham and Orlando Pride match to give you our reaction analysis as well as our team of the week. Thank you all so much for joining us, whether you're listening as a pod here live on YouTube or on Golazo Network. We appreciate you jumping in. From Jordan, Jen, Trey, and Courtney, I'm Darian, and this was Attacking Third. you.